It is now my esteemed honor and privilege to introduce to you our first keynote speaker for the 5th Asian Virtual Conference on Institutional and Action Research 2023. With more than 2 decades as an award-winning educator and established English teacher and researcher, our first keynote speaker is a highly qualified education expert holding a degree in teaching English as a foreign language from the University of Guadalajara, Mexico. Her dedication to educational excellence is reflected in a series of certifications and diplomas from Cambridge, ESOL examinations, and the English Teacher Training Diploma from ProUlex. An expert in educational technology, she holds 2 Google certifications for education. With an outstanding career spanning over 25 years, she has served as an English language specialist at the Higher Institute of Research and Teaching for Teaching, ISIDM, in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, an institution focused on professional training and research in the field of education. Its objective is to train education professionals as leaders, coordinators, and researchers with a high level of competence, and aims to provide a high level of education and research opportunities for individuals pursuing careers in education. She has worked with students of all ages and levels, demonstrating exceptional ability to customize educational programs based on individual needs using humanistic principles, neuroscience, technology, and artificial intelligence. Moreover, she has shared her expertise as a teacher trainer in various educational institutions. She has served as an international speaker at significant organizations and universities, such as Mextestol, FID, Recrea Academy, University Scholars Association of the Philippines, STAR Incorporated, AVCIAR organization, among others. She has made an indelible mark in the publishing field with her participation in notable projects and author of the trilogy, The 6 Phases Method to Train English, demonstrating her deep commitment to education and language involvement. Awarded the Recrea y Comparte 2020 award, she impacted thousands of teachers by facilitating technology use during the pandemic. Recognized nationally and internationally for her excellence in language teaching, specializing in pronunciation and public speaking, she has delivered over 150 conferences. Additionally, as an edutuber, she shares free English classes for high school students, benefiting thousands of young people globally. Her research interests are on the benefits of the IPA in the teaching learning process, practical methodologies to address grammar, and the systematic use of artificial intelligence to enhance learning. A decorated and established teacher researcher to discuss about the enhancing resilient research endeavors, fostering the use of technology and continuous improvement from a Mexican perspective, we are humbled and honored to have Profesora Cristina Mauricio Cerda of the Instituto Superior de Investigación y Docencia del Magisterio, Mexico, our first keynote speaker to this year's Asian Virtual Conference on Institutional and Action Research 2023. Good morning, Professor Cerda.
Good morning. May I share my screen, please? Thank you so much for that warm presentation. Let me know, can you see my slides? Are they visible?
Yes, yes.
Am I visible?
Yes, you are. We can see you now.
Thank you. Technology and continuous improvement can empower researchers to transcend geographical boundaries, collaborate with colleagues from all over the world, and propel the frontiers of knowledge. of an unprecedented scale. Profesora Cristina, Mauricio, I'm so happy, guys, to be with you today in this talk. And let me tell you that for me, it's a great honor to be sharing today what I am about to share, because here is Dr. Cesar Santoyo. He is the principal, the director of the institution where I am an assessor. And you are going to be fascinated about the things that we want to share with you. Let me show you these images. Here we can see the climate change. This happened this year. We have a heat wave in North America. We can see the floods in Europe. We can see the droughts in Africa. And it is happening right now. Another thing that concerns us is inequality. I put these 3 examples. Sometimes we cannot believe that we are in this year, 2023, and we are still struggling with inequality about race, about gender, about wealth. I was doing some research, and 1% of all the world population has the 46% of the wealth. Can you imagine that? 1% of all the world population has the 46% of all the wealth around the world. So these things are not only a topic to reflect on. We are coming from post-pandemic. We suffered a lot during the pandemic, but still we are dealing with a lot of difficult challenges. I'm going to show you another one. We are in the 4th industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0. And here we have some examples. We have virtual reality. When I was looking at this, all the effects and the way it's going to impact us, I cannot describe it. I'm a language teacher. And for example, I've been observing and I've been watching some videos where teachers are not going to be needed anymore. We have artificial intelligence tutors nowadays. There is immersion in the classes where students are just going to take some classes and they are going to be taking their classes as if they were interacting with real people, but they are not real. And I don't know you, but if you know this robot, her name is Sophia. She is a robot that acts like a human. And when you listen to this robot lady talking, it is pretty scary because we are living like in a future movie. And another thing that I want to share with you is about this. This topic is very sad. And it has to be about peace and security. We started last year with the war in Ukraine. Then in the last couple of weeks, the problem in Israel and Hamas, and also in Ethiopia. There are a lot of problems around the world. So it is not only post-pandemic. We are facing a lot of challenges. And we, as educators, as researchers, we have a great commitment, not only to our profession, also with humanity, because we can do so many things in the field where we are, and we can impact not only our students, we can impact the rest of the world. Let me show you the agenda. I'm going to be sharing about some experiences from ISIDM, the institution that I was telling you. I'm going to be sharing how we can enhance our performance as researchers with technology. And finally, how can continuous improvement can help us as well. All right, so let's continue. I'm from Mexico. It's a beautiful country And I'm so happy to see that we are not so different from the Philippines. We have a lot of things in common. And let me tell you that in this institute, it's a leading institution in the field of educational research in Mexico. It was founded in 1980, and it has a long history of producing high-quality research. It's a beautiful, beautiful institution, not only for the outside, also from the inside with the people that it has. And let me tell you about the programs. There are 3 programs. There is a master's degree in education sciences with a specialization in pedagogy, educational sociology, educational psychology, or planning. There is another program. There is another master's degree in socio-educational intervention. And also there is a PhD in applied educational research with a focus on the study of educational problems in the Jalisco and national educational systems. In particular at the different educational levels. So here you can see one generation of postgraduate students. Some of them were my students. And let me keep telling you that the focus on research is on a variety of topics, including teacher education, curriculum development, and educational policy. How has this institution responded to the challenges and changes in the Mexican educational landscape? Let me tell you about it. Some of the things that the institution has done is innovation. There is a great sense of leadership. Dr. Santoyo is a pioneer in this. And there are a lot of innovative research methodologies. Collaboration, I think that is one of the key parts, collaboration, because it has built strong partnerships, and maybe from this talk there are going to be even more with institutions and organizations. Also, internationalization. Here is one of the students presenting in organization, and he was presenting his article. It was great, Mr. Bernardo. So in this way, you can see what is going on in other parts of the world, not only with the countries that are near to you, but you can go to different parts and to see what's going on and to work together, not only to be presenting, but really like start working together. Some of the lessons that this institution has learned to keep that resilience in this research work, it is the flexibility. We have been facing a lot of changes since the pandemic. Just imagine this. One day on the news, they say that everything was closed. Nobody could go to anywhere, the lockdown. And I think that it was in 2 weeks where all the students were taking classes in the platforms. So we were flexible. It is important to build strong relationships with the stakeholders and also to have a clear vision and mission for the future. And let me share about the mission of ISIDM. This is a great teacher who passed away last year. He was a great teacher, and he was always promoting and doing webinars and sharing about the institution. So that's why it's an honor for me to put the picture of this teacher. And the mission is to train academic professionals to improve not only the education of Jalisco and the country, but also to be able to help education worldwide. Now more than ever, we know that we are global citizens and we cannot be only in our country or in our institution or in our school or with our students. We need to go to other parts of the world. And here in this institution, we have a great sense of research. Here is a class where I was with my students, and it is working and is doing great things to change and to keep the activities doing during the pandemic. One of the things that it was very important was the social-emotional part. Not only the students, also the people who were working in the institution to be flexible. The evaluation changed, the classes changed. So that flexibility allowed us to continue working. And also to strengthen technology infrastructure. It was also so important. Fostering collaboration and community engagement. Prioritizing student well-being and support. This is one of the areas that I was telling you that it was vital. And I think that today, more than ever, after the pandemics, it doesn't matter. We need to keep focus on people, on humans. We are not just a teacher or a postgraduate or a researcher. We are people, and we feel and we think and we are doing things. So the social emotional part, it is so important. And also expanding research focus on pandemic related issues. And one thing that I want you to tell you about these strategies, it was investing in research infrastructure and capacity, developing a strong research culture, and promoting research dissemination. If you can see in the pictures, one factor that it is in all the pictures is people. ISIDM is not only about the institution, it's about people, about the teachers, the educators who are there with the students, who are doing the research, who are making those decisions, who are doing the changes in order to improve education, to improve the way of living. And I think, guys, this is one of the most important things. I'm going to give you this QR so you can go to the page of ISIDM. I already wrote in the chat, so you can browse, you can interact with us, you can connect, you can tell us about your research or the things that you are doing. And I'm pretty sure great collaborations can be possible. These strategies that I was telling you about becoming flexible, paying attention on the social emotional factor, strengthening infrastructure in technology, those help us to become resilient. But if you can ask me, which one was the most important, was collaboration, to be there with the people. And I'm going to keep that in a pin because we're going to be talking later about it. Here, I'm going to show you Dr. Cesar Santoyo. We had an event 2 years ago with Dr. Gennaro Villapos. He was so kind. One day I was in a conference and I saw him and I was shocked because of his expertise and all the things that he knows. I've been collaborating with Dr. Rommel Vitabula. And when I saw Dr. Gennaro Villapos, I sent him a message on Facebook and I say, Dr. Gennaro, could you give me some tips for my students? And he was so kind. That is something that shocked me because he said, I'm going to be giving you those tips, but on Zoom, I want to meet your students. And we had a class of 2 hours. He was sharing with us best practices to do some research. And after that, we have this event. And it was amazing because we could collaboration once again. So let's move on to our next topic, which is technology. I've been working for Google and I've been teaching some professors in the University of Guadalajara with some of the technology of Google. And this picture really surprised me. This picture is outside the main building of Google. What it represents is that the dinosaurs and these pink birds, flamingos, were together at the same time. Now we know the story, right? Dinosaurs are not here anymore, but the flamingos do. Why? Because they were flexible. And that is something that helped me to understand why when we are having problems, resilience is key. Why? Because resilience comes from bouncing. So if you have a problem, if you are like an egg and you break, you are not going to be able to bounce. But if you are flexible and you bounce like a rubber ball, you are going to be able to survive, to continue, to move on. And I want to be a flamingo. I don't want to be a dinosaur. So sometimes it's very hard for me to get to know new things, to do new procedures, to learn about new things. But I remember about this picture, and then I say to myself, Cristina, be flexible. Don't become a dinosaur. One of the quotes that I like the most is the mission of Google, which is to organize the world's information and to make it universally accessible and useful. How many times we have a chaos in our papers or procedures where we are doing some task? And here, if we start learning about these tools, I'm not telling you that they are the best, because we can use so many things. But for me, they work very well. And I'm going to be showing you about 3 of them. The first one is going to be the drive. And maybe most of you know it, but you will see later why am I telling you about this. In the drive, you know that you can foster collaboration. So if you are doing some research and you are collaborating with people from all over the world, all the files that you have are going to be there in real time. So it's going to be a centralized platform. And nowadays, it has artificial intelligence integration. But let me tell you something. This is available when you have a workspace account that you are paying for it. So that's the bad news. But it's great, because let me show you something. In your drive, in your normal drive, you cannot see some of the tools. And for example, here you can put some add-ons. You can put some artificial intelligence in the drive, and it is going to make your life easier. I know that there is a debate nowadays because artificial intelligence, well, there are different opinions, right? But I believe, imagine 500 years ago, when the books were printed for the first time, the people who were writing the books, it took them days to write one page. And when the printer arrived, they were saying, no, it's the devil. I think it's happening to us. Because remember, we are in the 4th revolution. So again, remember the flamingo. We need to start being flexible, and we need to start learning about the new technologies in order to make our life easier. So it's going to be great. Another idea that I'm going to be giving you, it's Classroom. I don't know how many of you are using Classroom to organize, not only in the drive, but also to organize all the processes of your research. And if you are collaborating with other people, you can be doing it on time, in real time. So it's going to be great. Another, you can be sharing and collaborative learning. If you are doing some research and you have a class, you can be working together too. It's a great idea. You can personalize learning. Remember that I told you about artificial intelligence in the workspace account? Well, there are 2 things right now in Classroom that are fantastic. You have study sets or study practice. And these are, I'm going to explain you in a minute. You can have artificial intelligence and you can be more specific in the things that you are teaching. And also, you can have data-driven insights and performance tracking. For example, you can get the data immediately if you are using the Classroom to have that class in order to have that research, if you are doing some action research. I was telling you about Classroom. In some accounts that you are paying, and also on the ones that you are not paying, you can use and you can combine and you can integrate new add-ons that are great. I really recommend you Deck. It's great. And I was telling you about the study sets. For example, you are doing an exam and the artificial intelligence algorithm is going to suggest practice for each student in every specific aspect where they are having problems. It sounds that scary, really, really, really. It is, but it is great. And also, you can have YouTube in classroom, and you can also prepare videos with questions. I don't know if you know Edpuzzle. It's very similar to that. So it has that integration in classroom. And again, I repeat, in the paid accounts. So it is going to be good to explore and also to be using to organize your information. And one that I really, really, really love is Google Sites. Maybe you know it, maybe you do not know it, but how about having a web page, a professional web page, and you are not paying anything, and you can collaborate with your team of research. It's going to work like a centralized research hub and knowledge repository. You can set if you want it public or you want it private. That's up to you. So that is great. You can have an interactive research showcase and dissemination platform, and you can have collaborative research workplace and project management tool. For example, imagine that you don't have to pay for a web page, and you can have something like this, like from ResearchGate. In Google Sites, I have to tell you something. If you are going to use this tool, it is very important that you use it from your tablet or from your computer, because if you are using on your cell phone, it is not going to allow you to make that web page. It's like if you are making a PowerPoint, really that easy. And it is fantastic, the results. Now, let's move on to one report and some 4 things that I learned about this summary, technology in education, a tool on whose terms from UNESCO and the goals from sustainable development. And here they said that in technology, we need to focus on students' needs. But remember that inequality that I told you about. It is very sad, even in my country, I've been working in schools and students, they don't have data. There is no internet. So I think it is going to be very, very, very important to keep doing some research and to keep working on those changes in order to provide quality education for all of our students. Another one is to address equity. The next one is to consider scalability. And finally, to guarantee sustainability. It is something that we can say, okay, I'm just a teacher, or I'm just a researcher, or I cannot take those decisions. But again, if we are working from our performance, and if we can show more data, and if that data in the research that we are doing can help in order to provide quality education and technology, I think it's going to be fantastic. I've been giving some classes from friends in Angola about the use of Google, and they are amazed. We can do so many things sharing the things that we know. Maybe it is going to be something easy, but a person cannot know about it, and it's going to mean the world for that person or for that school or for that group of students. So my recommendation here is to be flexible, to keep learning, and to keep sharing. Technology, it's so important. We cannot close our eyes and to say, oh, that is not going to affect me, because we are living in that revolution, and we're going to see a lot of changes in the following, not years, weeks and months. And the last thing I want to share with you is going to be continuous improvement. And maybe you can say, oh, Profesora, what does this have to do with research? For me, it means a lot of things. I don't know if you know about Kaizen. Some people say that is a method. Other people say that is a culture or a philosophy. What I have found out, it's more like a philosophy, and the origins come from the Second World War. Japan was destroyed, and many people were trying to rebuild that country. And this culture, this way of improvement in a continuous way, emerged, and it has helped not only the country, it has helped many, 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 many companies around the world. I'm going to ask you, have you ever felt this way when you are doing your tasks, when you are preparing your questions or your methods or your reports? Yes, I have. So let me share about this. As I was telling you, Kaizen, we cannot say that it's a methodology. We can consider more like a tool, and it has many tools. And it is mainly used in the corporate world, in companies. But what I found about the thing that I'm going to share, for me, it was like, wow, this is great. Lean manufacturing refers to the way you are making the processes easier, thinner, not so complex or so difficult or so tiring. Okay? So for example, in Kaizen, all of these things, the icons that you can see, they have to do with different techniques that a company can use in order to analyze the processes. Some of them have to do with the machines, and we are not going to be talking about them. Some of them have to do with the image, with the flows about processes. The one that I'm going to show you today is the 5S, and I hope that it helps you. The term Kaizen, according to its creator, Masaki Imai, comes from two Japanese ideograms, Kai, which means change, and Zen, which means to improve. Thus, we can say that Kaizen, it's change for improvement or continuous improvement as it is commonly known. How can we use this in our performance as researchers? Let me show you. Here, they have this simple explanation. You have to sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. Remember, I'm going to be giving you this perspective. Do not do it to use it in a research that you want to do. No, you as a researcher, right? Think about the processes. Think about all those tasks that you do. Think about your workplace. Think about your timing. Think about your wellness, because that is so important. One thing that we learned from the pandemic was about ourselves. I can tell you that every month after the pandemics, I've been healthier, I've been fitter, and I've been with more energy, because I learned in a bad way that I could die if I'm not taking care of my wellness. So I think that taking that responsibility, it is important. So let me explain you the first one. For example, I'm just going to be giving you some rough ideas. I hope it works. If you need the presentation, I can send it in a soft copy. So for example, think about all the tasks about research and start classifying them. Next, eliminate the necessary tasks. We are very good observing the processes and the research and the things that we are doing, but I am inviting you to observe yourself, to observe your practice, and also streamline research workflows. If you are having like a map of the process of the things that you are doing, I think it's going to be great. The second is going to be set in order, and in Japanese, I don't know if it is pronounced correctly, seitan. You are going to organize your research materials, maintain a clean and organized workspace. And for the first one, I recommend you, for example, the Google Apps or the Google Tools or any other tool that you are using in order to organize those materials. And in Google, you can even put them in color. So it's going to be visually easier to find. And prioritize task scheduling. The third one, it's going to be shine. And I chose this image, right? Because it is important to clean, it is important to sweep. Sometimes we are having so many things. Remember the picture that I show you, where there are all the papers? And we are not having that time to eliminate those tasks, or maybe a process or activities that are time consuming or that are not helping us. And here is where you are going to be taking those activities away. Also address errors and inconsistencies. So it is a part where you are going to be doing that cleaning. And finally, to seek feedback and continuous improvement. One thing that I haven't told you about this is the Kaizen. When a person is doing a Kaizen event, they choose one of the tools that I was telling you. And it is supposed to be done in group. I was asking you to do it on your own first. And if you like it, and you have a group of people where you are working in a research, and you are working together for a long period of time, you can be working on these tools too, if you like them. Another S that is so important is standardize. Consistency is the key. That's why I chose this picture. To develop standardized research methods, implement standardized documentation practices, and promote a culture of continuous improvement. What I love about Kaizen is that you don't have to improve everything at once. It is a system in which you are going to be making small changes, and with those small changes, your practice is going to improve in a continuous way. And last but not least, it's going to be sustained. And I can describe this picture as discipline. If you start integrating these 5S into your daily research practice, everything is going to be improving. Remember, you need to take care of yourself as a human first. Sometimes we do not eat well. We do not sleep well. We are managing lots and lots of stress due to our jobs and all the things that we have to do in our paperwork and doing the research. But remember, if you are not disciplined, your health is going to be compromised. Your wellness is going to be compromised. Your happiness is going to be compromised. So one part is essential, and I think it is the human part that we need to take care of ourselves. Also, regularly assess and redefine the 5S implementations and promote a shared commitment to the 5S. If you find it logical and that it could be useful, I invite you to investigate a little bit more about it and start making those small changes and see what happens. Today, I've been talking to you guys about 3 things: about the ISIDM, about technology, and about Kaizen. And I can tell you that it has to do with 3 aspects that are so important: collaboration, technology, and about human development. If you can be combining these 3 things, you can improve your development, your performance as a researcher in your institution, creating those boundings, those groups of work that are going to help you, that are going to support you, learn more about technology, and also about time management, about continuous improvement. I believe that is going to be great for you. And this is one of my favorite quotes. I'm going to end up with this. And it says that the problems of the world cannot be solved by skeptics or cynicals, which horizons are limited by the obvious realities. We need men like you guys. We need women like you girls. who can dream on the things that never were and ask, why not? Today, I've been telling you about the climate change, about the world peace, about inequality, about all the things that are challenging us. But we can dream. Why not? I remember when I was a girl, I used to say, I want world peace. And people used to tell me, you are so naive. You are not thinking well. But why not? Why not providing education to our brothers and our sisters, not only in our schools, in our institutions around the world? The job that you are doing, it's fantastic. I was so touched looking at the pictures of all the presenters. I was reading the titles, and I could see those dreamers who are dreaming on changes, improvement, and to make a better world. I want to end up with this. It's a picture of my beautiful country. I want to invite you, when you come to Mexico, please say, Profesora, we are in Mexico, and I'm going to be giving you a great tour. And also you can visit the ISIDM. It's going to be fantastic to have you here. And it has been a pleasure. I want to thank Dr. Genaro Villapos for the kind invitation. Mr. Russell, you are fantastic and you are great. Thank you so much for this kind invitation. I have the references. If you want a soft copy of this presentation, is for you. And here is my contact number. Thank you so much.